You must take action. You must do the impossible because giving up is never an option. Namaskar, welcome to PT Pointers, and in this video, we will cover major headlines of the Hindu, Indian Express, and Press Information Bureau. So, without wasting any time, let's start today's discussion. And our first headline is related to Thiruvalur, who was a celebrated poet and philosopher. He is regarded as a cultural icon by Tamils, and he is best known as the author of Thirukural, which is a collection of couplets on matters like ethics, politics, and economics and love. Our next headline is related to Mount Merapi, which recently erupted again. Mount Merapi means mountain of fire, and it is one of the most active volcanoes on Sumatra Island in Indonesia. And do you know, friends, Indonesian archipelago sits on the Pacific Ring of Fire, where the meeting of continental plates causing high volcanic and seismic activity. Our next headline is related to 10th schedule of the constitution, and it is in the news because recently Maharashtra Assembly Speaker has refused to disqualify 40 MLAs of the Eknath Shinde faction after recognizing it as the real Shiv Sena. Now let's know more about 10th schedule. So friends, 10th schedule of the constitution, commonly known as Anti-Defection Law, and it was introduced in 1985 by the 52nd Constitutional Amendment. It was aimed to curb the tendency among legislatures to switch loyalties from one party to another. It provides for the presiding officer of the legislature to disqualify any defector on a petition by another member. The law contemplates two kinds of defection, and first is by a member of voluntarily giving up membership of the party on whose symbol he got elected, and second is by a member violating a direction issued by party to vote in a particular way or to abstain from voting. And do you know, friends, Supreme Court in KM Singh versus Speaker of Manipur 2020 recommended that Parliament amend the constitution to vest these powers in an independent tribunal headed by judges. So friends, our next headline is related to PM Kissan, and it is in the news because according to data available with the Ministry of Agriculture and Farmer Welfares, every fourth beneficiary added under PM Kissan over past 2 months is a woman. Now let's know more about it. So friends, PM Kissan stands for Pradhan Mantri Kisan Samman Nidhi scheme, which is a central sector scheme with 100% funding from the government of India, and it aims to provide financial assistance to cultivable landholding farmer families across the country subject to specific exclusion criteria. And under this scheme, an annual amount of 6,000 is transferred in 3 equal installments of 2,000 directly into the Aadhaar seeded bank accounts of the farmers. And definition of the family for the scheme is husband, wife, and minor children. Now recently, Supreme Court's 2-judge bench delivered a split verdict in a plea filed by former Andhra Pradesh Chief Minister seeking to quash FIR and criminal proceedings against him in a skill development scam case. A bench differed on interpretation of Section 17 of the Prevention of Corruption Act, which makes prior sanction of the government mandatory to prosecute public servant in relation to an act done in discharge of his official functions or duties. And do you know, friends, in 2003, the Delhi Special Police Establishment Act 1946 was amended, and under 6A, it was required to seek approval from the central government before investigating alleged offences under the Prevention of Corruption Act 1988 if an employee in question held a rank higher than Joint Secretary. And in 2014, Supreme Court struck down this requirement, and 4 years later, Prevention of Corruption Act was amended and similar provision was introduced as Section 17A. And under this section, if a public servant commits an offence under the Act while discharging their official duties, investigators must receive approval from the central or state government or a competent authority to open an inquiry or investigation. Our next headline is related to India International Science Festival 2023, which is being organized by Department of Science and Technology. It is the largest science festival which brings together and connect all segments of society. This has been organized since 2015, and this is the 9th edition. And this year theme is Science and Technology Public Outreach in Amrit Kal. This festival aims to acknowledge the achievement of science enthusiasts and inculcate scientific temper among young students and spread the same among Indian citizens. Our next headline is related to 𝐸𝐸Saki Mobile Application, which is recently launched for revised fund flow procedure under MPLAD scheme. MPLAD is a central sector scheme which was announced in 1993, An annual MP Lads Fund entitlement per member of parliament constituency is 5 crore, which is released in two installments of 2.5 crore each. And Raj Sabha member of parliament can recommend works in one or more districts in the state from where he or she has been elected. The main objective of the scheme is to enable each member of parliament to recommend works of developmental nature with emphasis on creation of durable community assets based on the locally felt needs of the people. Our next and last headline is related to Kbi Youth Festival, which is being celebrated in Assam. It is the oldest and biggest ethnic festival of Northeast India, which is celebrated primarily by the Kbi and other ethnic communities inhabiting the areas administered by the Kbi Anglong Autonomous Council. And do you know, friends, Karbis linguistically belong to the Tibeto-Burman group, and the original home of the various people speaking Tibeto-Burman languages was in Western China, and Karbis along with others entered Assam from Central Asia. So with this, let's conclude our today's discussion. Thanks for listening, and for regular updates, you can follow us on various social media platforms.